You walk into your garden in the morning, harvest herbs, lettuce, or microgreens, and deliver to restaurants, neighbors, or your first regular customers. And the crazy thing is, you're not just doing something you enjoy, you're making real money with it. Sounds like freedom, but this is exactly where many people make their first mistake. And in this video, I'll show you how you too can successfully do this step by step. Many people think, if I want to do this seriously, I need land. A farm, a large plot, machinery, buildings, capital, but it's exactly the opposite. In the beginning, you don't need more land. You need a smaller way in. One you can test on the side without debt, without rebuilding your entire life. In this video, I'll show you how you can get started with farming without buying a farm right away. How to find a product, win your first buyers, keep costs low, and recognize when it becomes a real farm business. Stay until the end. Because at the end, you'll get one single test question. And if you answer it honestly, you'll know whether you're actually building something sustainable or just an expensive hope. Many people don't start with a business. They start with an image, touching soil, harvesting, customers at the market, a simpler life. And there's nothing wrong with that. That image can be the beginning, but it cannot remain the plan. Because a farm is not a bigger garden. A farm is a business with dirt under its fingernails. You are not just the person who grows things. You are production, sales, marketing, bookkeeping, logistics, and customer service. If you understand that too late, something dangerous happens. You work more than ever before, but your bank account doesn't grow with it. And then the dream suddenly no longer feels like freedom. It feels like a job that pays you like a hobby. That's why the first big mistake is not poor soil, not bad weather, not even a lack of experience. The first big mistake, you tie up too much capital too early. Buying land sounds reasonable, safe, like a real start. But in the beginning, land does not bring you a single customer. It doesn't pay for irrigation, tools, cooling, and it doesn't replace experience. If all your money is tied up in the property, it's missing exactly where revenue is created. And now imagine for a moment that someone wants to open a cafe. Would that person buy the entire building first before knowing whether anyone will even buy the coffee? Probably not. So why do it with a farm? This is where it gets interesting. Land is visible. A working model is not. And that is exactly why many people overestimate the land and underestimate the model. So before you think about acres, leasing, or buying, something much less romantic comes first. Your own numbers. How much do you really need per month? Not the ideal version. The real version. Rent, food, insurance, car, reserves, repairs, everything. Because if you don't know what your life costs, you also can't know what your small farm project will eventually have to carry. And this is exactly where one of the biggest stress factors is hidden. Many people mix personal costs and business costs. Then everything looks busy. You plant, harvest, deliver, somehow do the math on the side. But no one knows whether it carries itself or whether your income is secretly financing the project. And if you realize that too late, every decision becomes harder, not in the field, but in your head. And now comes the part that is freeing for many people. You don't have to become a full-time farmer immediately. A side job is not failure. It can be the reason your project survives. If your farm business has to pay all the bills from day one, you make decisions under pressure. You grow too much, sell too cheaply, say yes too often, and buy things you can't afford. And at some point, you're no longer working on your model, you're chasing after it. A stable income on the side takes that pressure out of the equation. Maybe in the trades, in hospitality, in marketing, or on another operation. That's not a detour, that's strategy. Because the dream isn't smaller just because you finance it wisely. A farm doesn't just need work, it needs breathing room. But money alone is not enough. You need something you can't buy. Experience. Books, courses, and videos help. But they don't replace the moment when you realize how farming really works, how quickly weeds come back, how stressful a market day can be, how important irrigation suddenly becomes, how many decisions come up every day. Farming is not just knowledge. Farming is rhythm. So start small. Help out in a market garden. Work on a farm, talk to producers, grow something yourself. Test a small product on a small plot. Make mistakes while they are still cheap. Gain experience where you later want to start. Because climate, soil, season, pests, and customers are local. Experience takes time, but no experience often costs much more. And beneath that experience lies something even more important. You find out what kind of farming actually suits you. Maybe you love vegetable growing, but hate markets. Maybe you want animals, but underestimate the daily responsibility. Maybe you dream of self-sufficiency, but first need a profitable product. You need to know that before you commit yourself to land, credit, and infrastructure. Because a project rarely fails because of one single big mistake. It fails because of 100 small assumptions that were never tested. And that is exactly why starting small is not a step backward. It is your safety net. You don't have to look big. You first have to learn what works. Now the idea becomes a business, not with an 80-page plan. One page is enough in the beginning. What do you want to sell? To whom? At what price? How often? And through which channel? Neighbors, restaurants, farmers market, vegetable box, starter plants, or herb subscriptions. Then comes the decisive question. Is that enough to cover your costs and eventually help carry your life? That sounds dry, but this is exactly where a nice hobby separates from a real business model. You don't need perfect numbers, but you need initial numbers. Because numbers don't destroy your dream. They show you whether it can stand. And now comes the mistake that even hardworking people make. They grow what they love, not what gets bought. That sounds harsh, but a farm business does not begin in the bed. It begins in conversation with the market. If everyone is selling lettuce, you don't automatically need even more lettuce. You need what people are missing. So go out before you grow. Talk to restaurants, to neighbors, to market visitors, to small shops. Don't ask, would you buy this? Ask instead, what are you missing? What is hard for you to get? What do you pay for regularly? Because demand is not a feeling. Demand shows itself where people come back and pay. And once you understand that, everything changes. Then you're no longer just growing vegetables. Then you're solving a problem. Only now do you create your starting budget, not the dream version, the survival version. What do you really need to get started? Seeds, crates, water, compost, simple tools, packaging, cooling, transportation. And with every expense, you ask only one question. Does this directly bring me revenue, safety, or efficiency? If not, it waits. Many people buy too much too early. Machinery before they know the soil. Infrastructure before they have customers. Perfection before the process works. In the beginning, capital is not there to make you look professional. Capital is there to keep you in the game long enough. And that is where the real art lies. You have to start small enough to survive mistakes, clear enough to grow. Only now do we talk about land. Because now land is no longer just the dream. It is the place where your model has to prove that it can carry itself. Maybe a leased plot, an unused garden, vegetables in exchange for use, or an existing operation where you can grow along with it is enough. This is often exactly where the best form of farming emerges, through trust, clear agreements, and people who have the same goal. A handshake can be the beginning. Good clarity makes sure that this handshake still remains fair 3 years from now. Who uses what? For how long? What will be built together? When that is discussed openly, land does not become a burden. It becomes the foundation for something that can grow. Now comes the test question, not, how do I buy land as quickly as possible? But, would this idea also work if you did not own the land? If the answer is no, you may not be buying a business. You may be buying hope. If yes, you have something more valuable than land, a model that can carry itself. And that is exactly when land suddenly no longer becomes the beginning, but the next step. The question is not whether you start big enough. The question is, what would you grow, sell, or test today if you first had to prove your farm before you owned it?